The year was 2087. Humans had finally reached beyond Earth in meaningful ways. They had built cities on Mars where thousands lived under large clear domes. They had mining operations on Europa, one of Jupiter's moons, pulling precious metals from beneath its icy surface. People felt proud. The stars no longer seemed so far away. Dr. Alan Roberts sat at his desk, staring at the pattern on his computer screen. As the world's top expert in how alien languages might work, he had spent years creating systems to understand messages that might come from space. But he never truly expected to use them. Then the signal came. Dr. Roberts, the voice from his doorway, made him look up. "They want you at headquarters immediately." 6 hours later, Alan found himself in a large underground room at the Global Space Coalition building. Military officers, scientists, and government officials filled the space, all looking at the main screen with the strange signal pattern. "We received it 3 days ago," said General Lisa Howard. "It's definitely not natural, and definitely not from Earth." Susan Miller stepped forward. As commander of the Horizon Asterisk, Earth's first ship built for travel beyond the solar system, she had been called back from training for this meeting. "The signal is getting stronger," she said. "Whatever sent it is getting closer." The room went quiet as new information appeared on the screen. "It will reach Earth orbit in approximately 18 hours, said a young analyst. The next day, people across Earth looked up as a massive shadow crossed the sky. The alien ship was enormous, almost the size of Manhattan, with a surface that shifted colors like oil on water. Smaller craft broke away from it, heading toward the designated meeting point in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Alan and Susan stood on the deck of a naval carrier with Earth's hastily assembled welcome team. Susan's hand rested near her sidearm, even though everyone knew weapons would be useless if the aliens meant harm. "Are you ready?" Susan asked. Alan clutched his translation device. "Not really, but here we go anyway." The alien shuttle landed with barely a sound. Its side opened, revealing beings that looked nothing like humans expected. They had smooth blue skin that seemed to ripple with light, 4 arms, and wide eyes that blinked vertically. "I am Ambassador Skithal of the Niverian people," the tallest one said, its words somehow translated into perfect English. "I speak for the Galactic Council, a union of 27 spacefaring species. We have been observing your world for some time." Ellen stepped forward. "We welcome you to Earth. I'm Dr. Alan Roberts, and this is Commander Susan Miller." Skull made a gesture that might have been a greeting. "Your species has advanced quickly. Too quickly, some believe." Over the next few hours, the humans learned several shocking truths. They were not alone in the universe. There was a governing body that oversaw relations between worlds, and Earth was considered a developing world despite its accomplishments. All species must undergo evaluation before receiving technological assistance and full citizenship in the galactic community, Skill explained during the formal meeting that followed. William Carter, director of the Global Space Coalition, leaned forward. "And what does this evaluation involve?" "We will observe your societies, your resource management, your treatment of your planet and each other," Skithal said. "Based on these observations, the Council will determine your status." The smooth way Skithal dismissed human achievements bothered Susan. "We've colonized Mars and established mining operations throughout our solar system without any help," she pointed out. Skithal's eyes blinked slowly. "Primitive first steps. Many species reach this stage. Not all advance beyond it." As the meeting continued, Alan noticed the subtle condescension in the ambassador's tone. The message became clear. Humans were being judged, and the Council already had doubts about them. Later, as Earth's representatives discussed the meeting, Carter summed up what everyone felt. "They're not here as friends or equals," he said. "They're here as evaluators, and I get the feeling we're already failing their test." Susan looked out the window at the massive ship still visible in the evening sky. "Then we'd better start passing it. because I don't think we want to know what happens to species that fail. 1 year passed since the aliens arrived. Earth had changed. Alien observers walked the streets of every major city. They stood in government meetings. They watched schools, factories, and research labs. Nothing stayed private from their cool, judging eyes. William Carter sat in his office at the Global Space Coalition headquarters, looking at reports from around the world. As GSC director, he had to manage humanity's response to the Council's evaluation. The job grew harder each day. A knock came at his door. Olivia Jackson entered, carrying a tablet. As Earth's main diplomat to the Council, she looked tired. Her eyes had dark circles, and her normally neat hair seemed messy. "They've completed their assessment," she said quietly. Carter stood up. "It's not good, William." They walked together to the main conference room, where Council scientist Lordak waited. Tall and thin with gray skin and 6 fingers on each hand, Lordak had spent the year studying humans. He did not hide his dislike for them. "Director Carter," Lordak said without standing, "your species has been evaluated thoroughly." Carter sat across from him. "We've cooperated fully with your observers." "Yes, and we have reached our conclusion." Lordak touched a device on the table. A 3D image appeared showing Earth with red areas covering much of it. Humanity has failed to meet the standards required for full Council membership. Olivia looked shocked. "On what grounds?" "Violent tendencies, resource inefficiency, political division, dangerous technological paths." Lordak listed these like he was reading a shopping list. "Your kind fights wars over small differences. You waste resources on luxury while others starve. You develop weapons before you develop wisdom." Carter leaned forward. "Every developing species has problems. We're working to solve ours. Without guidance, perhaps. But the Council has decided you require restrictions, not freedom." Lordak's voice became colder. "Effective immediately, humanity is forbidden from expanding beyond Mars. All operations on Europa and other outer system bodies must be dismantled." "That's outrageous," Carter said, his face turning red. "We have thousands of people working in the outer system." Lordak continued as if Carter hadn't spoken. "Additionally, certain research areas are now prohibited. Your quantum communications projects, fusion energy research, and artificial intelligence programs must cease." Olivia tried to stay calm. "These technologies are crucial to solving the very problems you mentioned. Our resource management depends on fusion energy. The Council has spoken." Lordak stood. "You have 60 Earth days to comply. Monitoring stations will be established to ensure cooperation." After Lordak left, Carter slammed his fist on the table. "This isn't an assessment. It's subjugation." "There's more," Olivia said quietly. "They're annexing Europa. They claim the resources there are too valuable to leave under human control. They called us unfit stewards." Carter walked to the window. Outside, he could see one of the Council's ships hovering over the city. Once, people had looked up in wonder. Now they walked with their heads down, avoiding the sight. "We need to call an emergency meeting with all Earth governments," Carter said finally. "The Council has no right to do this." Olivia touched his arm. "Be careful, William. The observers report anyone who speaks against the Council." Dr. Alan Roberts tried to protest their linguistic analysis last week, and now he's been banned from all Council contact. "What about Susan Miller? The Horizon Project?" "Cancelled. The ship is being dismantled. They say we're not ready for interstellar travel." Carter's jaw tightened. "So they show up, judge us, take our resources, limit our technology, and expect us to thank them for it." "Yes," Olivia said simply. "And if we resist, they've made it clear there will be consequences." As they talked, people across Earth received the news. Humanity had been judged and found wanting. Their future no longer belonged to them. It belonged to the Council. 6 months passed. On the surface, Earth obeyed the Council's rules. The mining stations on Europa were abandoned. Research labs studying forbidden technologies were shut down. Humans stayed within the allowed boundaries of space, but beneath this obedience, anger grew. Daniel Wright used to be an engineer for the Global Space Coalition. Now he led meetings in secret places. Tonight, 30 people gathered in an old warehouse basement. They called themselves Terran Sovereignty. They take our freedom. They take our future. They take our resources, Daniel said to the group. When will they take enough? Among those listening was Dr. Patricia Martinez. Once she ran a quantum physics lab in Nevada. Now she worked in secret. We've made progress, she told the group, showing them a small device. This communicator uses principles the Council banned. It can send messages they can't detect or track. Daniel nodded. Good. We need secure communications between cells. Across the city, Susan Miller sat at a desk, filing reports about human space activities. Once the commander of humanity's most advanced ship, now she monitored compliance with Council restrictions. The work felt like a prison sentence. Her computer beeped. A message from William Carter appeared. Need to talk. Usual place. 8 p.m. Later that night, Susan met Carter and Olivia Jackson in a small coffee shop. Dr. Eric Newman, head of what remained of Earth's physics research, joined them. They chose this place because Council observers rarely visited ordinary businesses. The situation is getting worse, Carter said quietly. The Alorans spoke up for us in the last Council meeting. The ones with 4 eyes and red skin? Susan asked. Olivia nodded. They suggested we deserve more time to develop. But Lordak's faction pushed back hard. He claims humans are showing disturbing patterns of non-compliance. Eric looked around nervously. My lab was raided yesterday. They took everything, even personal computers. Did they find anything? Carter asked. No, the real work happens elsewhere. Susan lowered her voice. What about the rumors of resistance groups? Growing every day, Carter said. I can't officially know about them, but... He stopped as his phone buzzed. His face went pale as he read the message. What is it? Olivia asked. The Council just voted. They're establishing permanent monitoring stations in every major city on Earth, and they're appropriating 30% of all Earth's rare resources. They call it a development tax. Susan's hands tightened around her cup. So we lose our resources and get watched more closely. What's next? It gets worse, Carter continued. They're claiming emergency powers due to human instability. Any protest or resistance will be dealt with directly by Council security forces. They're not even pretending anymore, Eric said bitterly. This isn't about helping us develop. It's about control. As they talked, across the galaxy, the Council debated humanity's future. Most species had little interest in Earth, but Lord Dax spoke passionately. These humans advance too quickly. Their violence makes them unpredictable. If not controlled now, they could threaten galactic stability within a century. An Eloran representative named Jiv L disagreed. We faced similar judgments when we were developing. Perhaps patience would serve better than restrictions. Your species learned its place, Lord Dax responded coldly. Humans must learn theirs. Back on Earth, Carter walked home alone. The sight of a Council ship overhead no longer surprised him. Once, such ships inspired wonder. Now they reminded humans of their chains. His phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. Protocol Prometheus is ready when you are. Carter deleted the message immediately. Officially, Protocol Prometheus didn't exist. Officially, he knew nothing about the contingency plan he and Newman had developed during the assessment year. Officially, humanity had accepted its place. Unofficially, the storm was gathering. The first monitoring station rose in Chicago like an ugly metal tower. Similar stations appeared in cities worldwide. People watched with quiet anger as alien technology took over their skylines. Council guards patrolled around each station, keeping humans away. Alan Roberts stood among the crowd in Chicago, watching the construction. Once Earth's top expert on alien languages, now he was just another face in the crowd. The council had taken his job, his research, and his purpose. But today, he wasn't alone. Thousands gathered to protest the station's construction. No more council control. Someone shouted. Others took up the cry. Council guards moved forward, raising strange devices. Ellen recognized them from briefings. Sound-based weapons designed to disperse crowds without leaving marks. At least, that's what the council claimed. "Please remain calm and return to your homes," a guard announced, voice amplified. "This gathering violates council safety protocols." Nobody moved. Instead, more people joined. "This is our planet," a woman near Alan shouted. The guards activated their weapons. A wave of sound hit the crowd. People covered their ears, some falling to their knees. Alan felt like his head might split open. Then something changed. The guards increased the power. People began to scream. Blood ran from ears and noses. The crowd panicked, trying to escape the invisible attack. Alan saw his brother Joe fall, hands clutching his head. He rushed to help, but a second wave hit. Pain exploded through his skull. Everything went dark. When he woke in a hospital bed, a doctor told him the news. 47 people dead, hundreds injured. Joe was among the dead. The event became known as the Chicago Massacre. Despite council efforts to control information, videos spread worldwide. People saw humans dying at alien hands. In her apartment, Susan Miller watched the footage with horror. Her phone rang. Carter calling. "We need to meet. Now," he said. Hours later, Susan, Carter, Olivia Jackson, and Eric Newman gathered in a secure location. "The council has issued an ultimatum," Olivia said. "Earth governments must accept increased council presence or face orbital sanctions." "What does that mean?" Susan asked. "They'll position weapons platforms in orbit," Carter said grimly. "Any further resistance will be met with targeted strikes." "They killed civilians," Eric said. "Unarmed people." Carter nodded. "And they call us violent." "What about Protocol Prometheus?" Susan asked. Carter's eyes met hers. "It's ready, but once we activate it, there's no going back." They were interrupted by a knock. Daniel Wright entered, leading Alan Roberts. Alan's face was bandaged, his eyes hollow with grief and rage. "Dr. Roberts wants to join us," Daniel said. "I was wrong," Alan said, voice rough. "I thought we could work with them, learn from them. But they don't want partners. They want slaves." Carter studied him. "You understand what we're planning is against council law. My brother died because he stood in a public square on his own planet." Alan replied. "Council law means nothing to me now." Carter nodded. "We need your skills. The council's communications are still difficult to intercept." "I can help with that," Alan said. The meeting concluded with a decision. Protocol Prometheus would begin within the week. Each person had their role. As they left, Susan saw something new in the night sky. A council warship, its weapons visible even from the ground. On the council's central world, Lord Dak addressed the leadership. "The human resistance must be crushed completely," he said. "I recommend full military occupation of Earth." Across the room, Jivil, the Eloran representative, watched silently. After the meeting, he contacted a secret ally on Earth. "The hardliners are winning," he told them. "If you plan to act, it must be soon." Before we did what they asked, and look at us now, second-class citizens for 3 centuries. On Earth, the message reached Carter. The timeline had to move up. Humanity couldn't wait any longer. The spark had been lit. 3 months after the Chicago Massacre, Earth seemed quiet. Council ships patrolled the skies. Monitoring stations operated in every major city. Humans went to work, returned home, and followed the rules. Or so it appeared. Beneath this calm surface, something else was happening. Secret meetings took place in basements and abandoned buildings. Messages passed through hands in coded language. Trucks moved at night carrying hidden cargo. A network formed, invisible to watching alien eyes. Olivia Jackson smiled at Lordak across a meeting table. As Earth's main diplomat, she attended weekly council briefings. "I'm pleased to report continued cooperation from all Earth governments," she said. "The resource shipments are ahead of schedule." Lordak nodded, his gray skin reflecting the room's light. "Good. Perhaps humans can learn after all." What Lordak didn't know, while Olivia spoke pleasantly to him, information about council movements and plans flowed through her to the resistance. Her diplomatic status let her move freely, carrying secrets in plain sight. In an underground facility beneath the Arizona desert, Susan Miller trained pilots. Once commander of humanity's first interstellar ship, now she prepared others for a different mission. Again, she told John Reeves, a former Air Force pilot sweating in a simulator, "The council ships rely on automatic targeting. You need to be unpredictable." The facility housed 20 experimental spacecraft, built in pieces at different locations and assembled in secret. Based on stolen council technology, but modified by human engineers, they incorporated ideas the council would never expect. Meanwhile, Alan Roberts worked in a small apartment surrounded by computers. His job: breaking council communication codes. The aliens thought their encryption unbreakable, but they underestimated human persistence. For weeks, Alan barely slept, driven by memories of his brother's death in Chicago. Finally, success. Council messages became readable. What Alan discovered shocked even him. "They've done this before," he told Carter during their next meeting. "Earth isn't the first. The Elorans faced similar treatment centuries ago." Carter nodded. "We suspected as much. Did you make contact?" "Yes. An Eloran scientist named Jivil reached out secretly. The council keeps them as second-class citizens, using their resources while limiting their growth." Sound familiar? In his office at the Global Space Coalition, now largely a puppet organization, Carter maintained his public face. He attended council briefings, submitted reports, and appeared cooperative. No one noticed that certain technologies and materials kept disappearing. Small amounts, never enough to trigger alarms, but steady. Dr. Eric Newman led the technical team working with these materials. In a hidden facility beneath the old Nevada Research Lab, he showed Carter their progress. "We've been studying their tech for months," Newman explained, pointing to a device on the table. "But we're not just copying it. We're improving it." The device, smaller than a shoebox, could disrupt council sensors. Similar innovations were being developed across the resistance network. "How long until we're ready?" Carter asked. 2 weeks, maybe 3. But time was running out. Council security forces had noticed patterns, discrepancies in resource shipments, unexplained energy signatures, unusual movements. Lordak reported his concerns to the council leadership. "Humans are showing signs of organized resistance. We should increase security measures and begin searching for hidden facilities." On the council homeworld, debate erupted. Some members, including Jivil, argued for dialogue with humans instead of more restrictions. Others supported Lordak's hard approach. "We gave them chance after chance," Lordak insisted. "Their defiance threatens the stability we've maintained for millennia. I recommend complete military occupation of Earth before the situation worsens." The vote was close but settled in Lordak's favor. A massive occupation force prepared to deploy to Earth. In their hidden base, Carter received the warning from Jivil. He looked at the others: Susan, Alan, Olivia, Eric, Daniel. Each had sacrificed everything for this moment. "It's time," he said simply. Protocol Prometheus would begin tomorrow, ready or not. The day Protocol Prometheus began seemed ordinary. Earth leaders gathered to accept occupation terms from the Council. William Carter stood among them, his face showing appropriate concern and respect. Lordak watched with satisfaction as humans appeared to accept their fate. No one noticed the small signal Carter sent from his watch. Across Council space, carefully placed human agents activated. Some worked on Council ships as maintenance staff. Others served in communication centers. A few had positions in supply depots. All had waited for this signal. On the Council homeworld, Jivil met with representatives from 3 other species who had experienced similar treatment to humans. The Ilorans, the Nenteri, and the Volux, all kept under Council control for centuries. Their alliance had formed in secret over many years. It begins today, Jivil told them. After this, the Council will never be the same. Back on Earth, the Council occupying forces prepared to land. Thousands of troops and security personnel loaded onto transport ships. Their mission: secure all major human cities and establish permanent Council rule. Deep underground, Dr. Eric Newman activated a device that looked like a small silver cube. It had taken months to perfect. "Systems online," he said to the team around him. "All units reporting ready." The device sent a signal that human resistance cells around the world received. Small teams moved into position near Council monitoring stations. Others prepared to target Council communication nodes. Susan Miller stood in a launch bay looking at 20 sleek spacecraft. Her pilots waited in their flight suits. None of the ships bore any markings. They had been designed using a combination of stolen Council technology and human innovation. "Remember your training," Susan told them. "The Council doesn't expect resistance from orbit. Use that surprise." In his apartment, Alan Roberts monitored Council communications. Thanks to his work breaking their codes, he could track their movements. More importantly, he could now send false information into their systems. Beginning Phase 2, he set into a secure line to Carter. Across Council space, human agents sabotaged key systems simultaneously. Supply ships suddenly changed course. Communication arrays stopped working. Security systems reported false alarms. Confusion spread through the Council network. On the Council homeworld, Jivil and his allies launched their own action. Political demonstrations erupted in major cities. Long-suppressed grievances against the Council's unequal treatment finally voiced openly. Some Council security forces joined the protesters. Lordak received urgent reports from across Council territory. His normally gray face turned pale. "What is happening?" he demanded of his staff. "How can there be coordinated disruptions in 17 sectors simultaneously?" Then came the news that shocked him most. Council ships were turning against each other. Civil war had begun, with literal factions led by Scathel opposing the hardliners. The humans, Lordak realized, this is their doing. He rushed to the meeting where Earth leaders were still discussing occupation terms, but Carter and several others had already left. In orbit around Earth, Council ships detected unusual energy signatures. Before they could investigate, Susan Miller's fleet launched from hidden facilities around the planet. The ships moved unlike any Council vessel, using maneuvers the aliens had never seen. Council weapons tried to lock onto the human vessels but couldn't track their erratic movements. The experimental shields on Susan's ships absorbed energy that would have destroyed normal craft. Lordak watched the reports in horror. How had humans developed such technology? The answer came to him in a terrible flash. They hadn't just copied Council tech. They had improved it. In his command center, Lordak made a decision. Humans had proved more dangerous than anyone imagined. They had to be stopped completely, whatever the cost. "Prepare the orbital strike platforms," he ordered. "Target major human population centers. We will make an example of Earth that the galaxy will never forget." As his staff rushed to comply, Lordak didn't notice a small communication from Jivil reaching Carter. "He's planning to use the planet killers. You have 6 hours at most." Lordak's attack began without warning. Massive energy beams shot from Council ships toward Earth's major cities, but something unexpected happened. Most beams hit an invisible shield that appeared just above the atmosphere. The shield flickered with blue light as it absorbed the energy. Not all attacks were stopped. Some got through. Cities like Rio de Janeiro and Seoul suffered terrible damage. Millions died as buildings collapsed and fires spread. But Earth itself survived. The planet-wide defense network, secretly built over months using modified council technology, had saved most of humanity. In his command center, Carter watched the casualties with a heavy heart. "We couldn't save everyone," he said quietly. Olivia put her hand on his shoulder. "Without the shield, billions would have died." There was no time for grief. Earth needed to fight back. Susan Miller's fleet engaged the council ships in orbit. Her vessels darted between the larger alien craft, firing weapons that disrupted council systems rather than destroying them outright. "Target their navigation and weapons," Susan ordered her pilots. "Avoid life support if possible." The human ships moved in ways council tactical systems couldn't predict. For centuries, the council had fought conventional wars with conventional strategies. They weren't prepared for human unpredictability. On communication channels across the galaxy, Alan Roberts broadcast messages in every council language. He used his deep understanding of alien psychology to craft words that created doubt and division. "The council has lied to you," his message said. "Humans aren't the only species they've suppressed. Ask the Alorans. Ask the Nenteri. Ask the Volux. How many more have been kept down to maintain the power of a few?" The message spread despite council attempts to block it. On dozens of worlds, questions arose. Protests grew larger. In orbit, Susan's fleet had gained the upper hand. Half the council ships were disabled, drifting with systems offline. The others retreated to regroup. But Lord Dak wasn't finished. From his command ship, he activated a special weapon, the Planet Killer. Unlike conventional weapons, this device created a chain reaction in a planet's core, causing it to tear itself apart. "Earth dies today," he said to his officers. "The rebellion dies with it." Carter received an urgent message from Jivil. "He's activated the Planet Killer. You have 1 hour." Dr. Newman rushed into Carter's command center. "We've analyzed the Planet Killer's energy signature. It's already starting to affect Earth's core temperature." "Can we stop it?" Carter asked. "Not from here," Newman replied. "It has to be deactivated from Lord Dak's command ship." Carter contacted Susan. "We need to board that ship." Susan assigned her best pilot, John Reeves, to fly a small team to Lord Dak's command ship. The team included Daniel Wright and 2 former Special Forces soldiers. "We'll create a diversion," Susan told them. "Get in, find the Planet Killer controls, and shut them down." The mission launched immediately. While Susan's main fleet engaged the remaining council ships, Reeves' small craft approached Lord Dak's vessel from behind. Using technology developed by Newman's team, they became effectively invisible to council sensors. The boarding team cut through the hull and entered the massive ship. Following schematics provided by Jivil, they moved toward the command center. On Earth, people could feel the effects beginning. Small earthquakes shook the ground. The sky turned strange colors. Fear spread. But humans didn't panic. Instead, they helped each other, evacuating damaged areas and setting up emergency shelters. If these were humanity's final hours, they would face them with dignity. On Lord Dak's ship, the team encountered resistance. Council guards fired strange weapons that distorted gravity around them. Daniel was hit and severely injured, but insisted the others continue. "Save Earth," he told them. "Nothing else matters." As they neared the command center, Reeves received a message from Susan. Her voice was calm but urgent. "You have 20 minutes before Earth's core becomes unstable. After that, nothing can stop it." John Reeves and his team reached the command deck of Lord Dak's ship with 15 minutes remaining. They found themselves in a massive room filled with council officers. At the center stood Lord Dak, his gray skin now almost white with fury as he watched displays showing the failing council attack. "Humans," he hissed when he saw them. "Even now you refuse to accept your place. Our place is among the stars," Reeves said, weapon raised. "Not under your boot." Guards moved to attack. A fierce fight began. The humans used their smaller size and quick movements to advantage, but they were outnumbered. Meanwhile, in orbit around Earth, Susan Miller's fleet continued to hold off Council reinforcements. Her ships took heavy damage, but they protected the path to Lordak's command vessel. On Earth's surface, the effects of the planet killer grew worse. The ground shook constantly now. Oceans rose in massive waves. The atmosphere filled with strange lights as Earth's magnetic field began to collapse. In the command center, Carter watched with Olivia, Newman, and Alan. 10 minutes, Newman said grimly. On the command ship, Reeves fought his way toward the planet killer controls. A council officer fired, hitting him in the shoulder. Despite the pain, Reeves kept moving. 8 minutes remained. Suddenly, the ship rocked from an explosion. Through a viewport, Reeves saw a new fleet arriving. But they weren't firing at the humans. They targeted Lordak's forces. "This is Ambassador Scathal," came a message on all channels. "The true council stands with humanity against Lordak's illegal action." The Civil War had reached Earth. Scathal's faction, along with Jivil and the other oppressed species, had brought their forces to help. Taking advantage of the confusion, Reeves reached the planet killer controls. But he didn't understand the alien technology. "I can't shut it down," he radioed to Earth. "Yes, you can," came Newman's voice. "We've studied their systems. Look for a crystalline structure with blue light." Reeves found it just as Lordak lunged toward him. They fought hand-to-hand, human strength against alien speed. With just 3 minutes left, Reeves knocked Lordak aside and reached the crystal. "Now what?" he gasped. "Reverse the energy flow," Newman instructed. "Turn the second ring counterclockwise." Reeves did so. The crystal changed color from blue to red. The countdown stopped at 1 minute and 30 seconds. "It's working," Newman confirmed as readings from Earth's core began to stabilize. "The reaction is reversing." Lordak screamed in rage. "You've ruined everything. The Council will fall because of you." "The Council will change because of us," Reeves corrected him. Within hours, the combined forces of Susan's fleet and Scathal's allies secured the remaining enemy ships. Council hardliners surrendered when they saw Lordak's defeat. The attack on Earth ended. In the following weeks, representatives from Earth and the oppressed species met with the reformist council members. The old system was gone forever. "We propose a new structure," Carter told the gathering. "The Galactic Assembly, where all spacefaring species have equal voice, regardless of their technological level." The idea spread quickly. After centuries of council control, many worlds welcomed change. Even species that had benefited from the old system recognized it couldn't continue. 10 years later, Carter stood on a platform in the new assembly hall on a neutral world. Earth had recovered from the attack and flourished. Human colonies existed on 17 planets now. Human innovation, combined with alien knowledge, had created technologies neither could have developed alone. A new ship approached the station, representatives of a newly discovered intelligent species making their first contact with the wider galaxy. "Welcome," Carter told them. "You meet us as equals, with respect for your culture and your future." That is the foundation of the assembly. As the new species joined the gathering, Carter thought about how far humanity had come. The Council's biggest mistake hadn't been underestimating human technology or strength. It had been underestimating human determination when pushed too far. That mistake had ultimately created a better galaxy for everyone.